Welcome to the Taskforce Geeks spoiler alert. We're going to talk about What If Episode 5, which is zombies. I think that people were pretty excited about this. I think this was hinted pretty early on that they were going to do something on this, and I suspect that, since everyone is pretty nuts about zombies as it is, that that crossover is probably a big deal. Not so much Walt. We're going to get into that here in just a second. I'm joined. My name is Dirk Hooper. Welcome to the show, and I'm joined, as always, by Beth and Walt. How are you guys doing?
Hello, everyone.
Doing good. Doing good.
I'm kind of low energy today because I stayed up until about 7 a.m. working on some artwork.
Dirk sleeping.
So there's that.
But you know what? I'm proud of you, Dirk. I'm proud of you for getting the work done.
Thank you. That's actually finished 3 pieces of art in the last 3 days, basically.
That's good.
If you count.
Getting work done and doing little videos promoting all of us creators and everything. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice job.
Wow, such an aside here.
Hey, we're known for going on tangents. So.
Yes, we are. One of the things that drives me nuts is I go to Facebook groups, including our own Task Force Geek group. By the way, if you're interested in that, please go over there and sign up for that. Here it is right here. On Facebook groups, people put out, like, let's say, independent comic creators or someone like Beth who has a book, and they share this thing about their work, and like there's 1 or 2 likes on the thing and no one makes a comment, and certainly as hell no one shares it to their feed. And one of the things that drives me nuts is that the share is the big, that's the brass ring.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't just die. You put it out on your feed, and all of the people who follow on your feed has a chance at least that look, back in a further tangent, back in the olden days of Facebook and Twitter, when you shared something, it went to the top of everyone's feed all at the same time. You share something at 3 p.m. and it goes out across the internet equally. So everyone had a chance to see your stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Twitter and Instagram and Facebook started effing with the algorithm, which means that so it's not just like, it's not happenstance that you see the thing. They start figuring out what it is that you should be watching or whatever. They determine what is important to you.
Right.
When sometimes the random stuff is what's important. It's like, show me what's out there, what people are sharing. So my point is that if you don't share it, then the algorithm will crush you. If you're a small thing, if you're Neil Gaiman and you share something, everyone on the earth sees it.
That's kind of questionable though sometimes,
because
I follow Neil like on Tumblr, and half the time I don't see the stuff he puts out until way after the fact.
Also true, but because he has so damn many followers, his stuff gets out there.
Yeah.
You may not see it, but enough people see it. If the algorithm serves it to enough people that it matters. So anyway, I did about a 3-minute video yesterday where I explained to people who are not in the creative industry, they're not an artist, writer, or whatever, but they like that stuff and they have friends who are that stuff and they want to encourage that stuff, that the thing that you can do, I mean, besides obviously, crack open your wallet and support that person, something that you can do for free and then take you 2 seconds is just to share the damn thing to your deal. It makes a huge difference. People have no idea. It not only does it get it out to the people, to your people, but it also affects that algorithm. So Facebook sees it and they go, hey, this thing was shared. It must be important. I will serve this to more people. Right. If you get 5 shares on it, Facebook is like, red alert. This is something really important. And so that's why shares are important.
And that algorithm,
so share this podcast right now, folks.
Yeah, share it.
That's why shares are important. That's why I keep saying it. I don't say it just for fun. I say it because it makes a big difference. And if you care about independent people and about supporting creativity and that sort of stuff, you should do this very simple 2-second thing.
Better
And
yet, if you
that's what that
enjoy
video was
a
about.
little guy sticking it to the man,
Yeah.
support the little guy. Share the little guy's stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Hey, Brian James says, once again, tremendous performance, Mr. Hooper.
What's up, Brian?
I don't know. But I mean, I'm awake. I can testify to that at this point. And there's Maxine, who was on our ass
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
about
Mom was-
getting on here.
Mom was texting me, "Where you at?"
It was time for us to get going.
It was like that commercial.
She's
"Where
also
you
checking in from Facebook. I
So-
like that. Watch this show on every device you have. Watch it on your phone. Watch it on your tablet. Watch it on your television.
Although, in my mom's words, I don't know nothing about Twitch.
Well,
She's
we're not
not going
broadcasting on Twitch.
Okay.
Today we are broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, and my Twitter account, which is at Dirk Hooper Plus. Spell out the plus.
Then
So
maybe I
back
should
to-
remove the Twitch address from our ads.
That's all right. I haven't done Twitch in a while because we don't get as much response on Twitch. If I had once we get some money flowing in on this thing, I will broadcast on Twitch every time because I have a 3
Oh yeah, that's right.
location limit right now.
That's right.
And we get typically 100 to 200 views on Twitter. So that was my, that's what
Hey.
that does.
It's a numbers game. All right, zombies.
Zombie.
Hey, why don't we go with overall impressions, and I'll start since I know Walt has a dissenting opinion. Let's start with overall impression to Walt.
I really had no feelings after this one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, me, as far as zombies are concerned, I have zero interest in anything that has to do with zombies. There are very
So you
few.
don't even like the concept.
I don't even like the concept of zombies.
Wow.
Does
All
not
right.
do anything for me. The closest things to zombies that I like, that I have enjoyed, I'll just put it this way, that I have enjoyed, have been the Resident Evil movies, even though they had nothing to do with the video games. I found them fun. And Battlestar Galactica, the new reboot, because that's basically a zombie story, if you look at it. Other than
Definitely
that,
survival
yeah.
survival horror.
Yes, the Cylons are continually coming after you.
Yeah.
You know, the more you kill, there's more coming after you.
Yeah,
the
Oh,
the
yeah,
difference
looking at it that way. Yeah. Okay.
the difference is that Cylons learn from their experience. They come back. Their memories are downloaded into new bodies, and they come back, and they're even harder to kill. That's the only correlation to zombies in Battlestar Galactica I have. But other than this episode, there were a few things in there that I liked, but as far as coming out of the end with having any feelers or any emotions about, wow, I really enjoyed that, I had none. I had no feelings for this episode whatsoever.
Who
Beth,
are
what do
you and
think?
what did you do with Walt? Seriously. Who are you and what did you do with Walt? You're a zombie, dude.
You're gonna like zombies or else.
Yeah. no, sure. Like
Sorry,
zombie man. Sorry.
They've never, the
hear
whole
you.
concept has never done anything for me. Never. I've never had any. I mean, another zombie show comes up and I'm like, oh, click.
No, Walt's not watching The Walking Dead apparently.
I have, you know what? I was given the first issue of The Walking Dead, the comic, way back when, and my only regret about giving that away at the time is that it's worth money now. Otherwise, I read it and I was like, did not interest me.
Beth, what do you think about this episode?
Oh, this episode was so much fun for me. from Bruce Banner. Well, yeah, besides the point. You be quiet over there. From Bruce Banner, crashing through Doctor Strange's house and walking out dressed like Wong to
Right.
the iconic line, Bucky serving up zombie cap, the iconic line.
Yeah.
there was just a lot of fun. I mean, Happy getting pulled away by Clint, firing off the Iron Man gauntlet, going blam,
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 blam.
blam, blam. I super enjoyed this episode. Probably because I have a little bit of a love for zombies. Zombie Wanda, though. Zombie Wanda. I was digging Zombie Wanda, and to Mom's point here. What will happen when they run out of people? The big reveal at the end, and there's a reason this is called spoiler alert. So if y'all didn't watch this, I'm sorry. Zombie Thanos.
It's in the title, folks.
Yeah. Zombie Thanos getting set to snap, and of course I'm sitting there thinking what Maxine just said. You sure you want to do that, dude? Because you're a zombie, you require fresh meat, and snapping out half of the universe isn't going to do you any good. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. Of course, we get Chadwick Boseman back, which
I will say this: we got Chadwick Boseman back, and he made a very haunting. He has a very haunting line in that.
Yes, and, that line is
which is what?
A heartbreaker.
Talking about death is not the end of things, as long as we remember them, they still live with us. And I was just like, I heard that, and I was
how
just
about that?
Yeah, I was just like, oh man,
how does that not resonate with you?
Self-fulfilling prophecy on that.
Holy
one.
Cats.
Now I will say that the episode had a few moments that I really liked. So,
apparently, body spray was one of them.
Yeah, the body spray line. Peter Parker. I'll just say we got Peter Parker and What If. We got Spider-Man and What If.
Neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, where's the neighborhood?
Most of the voice actors are the people from the films. In this case, Tom Holland was not the guy who played Spider-Man, although the guy who did him sounded a lot like him.
He did. Like him.
And did a great performance. But apparently there's some sort of issue with the Sony contract. And like Walt mentioned earlier, this was probably done prior to the agreement that Sony and Marvel came up with recently, where they decided to just work together. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
Why not just make a lot of money together?
Yeah, right.
How about that?
Yeah.
What? I mean, the fans certainly want it. The actors want it. The creators want it.
We'll just split 50-50 on our movies, and then boom.
The studios like making money, so why don't we just go ahead and make money?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it's very difficult.
It's a win-win situation, everybody. Win-win. So, Universal, Incredible Hulk.
Right. As far as my overall impression, I really enjoyed this episode. I think one of the things that I really like about What If is the strange combination, the teams that they put together in this thing. And you've got like Okoye and
the
Winter Soldier. Yes. And Hope Van Dyne. And by the way, the Ant-Man crew has had a lot of love in this series. I mean, Hank was the major bad guy in one of the episodes. We get both Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne in this episode.
We get Kurt in this episode too. Again, and it took me a minute to realize he was from Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's also from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
We continue to get Ant-Man kind of injected in this, and that whole crew. I think that's pretty wonderful. Kurt, of all things, they pulled out of this. Happy, who plays a major role in this thing. He's basically an Avenger for a period of time. Anyway, these strange combination of these crews that get together for these episodes, I think is so much fun. I really enjoy that aspect of it. Because I enjoy that in every other. I enjoyed it in the films, and I enjoyed it in the television series and stuff.
Did anybody notice that the Black Widow with the Avengers was Yelena, and not Natasha? Yeah,
I did notice that.
That was not lost on me.
I did notice that.
It was Yelena.
It was Yelena.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got a picture of her here coming up. We got some Easter eggs, and have some pictures for the show. I'll show you, and so we'll confirm that here in a second.
And we get Cape.
Yeah, we get
That's
Kate.
another
We
thing
get
I wanted to
Kate.
mention.
We get Kate.
This is yet another episode where the Cape is like this character. I mean, they are really building up the Cape
I love that cape.
in
I love
What
that
If.
cape.
The Cape fought with another Cape in the last episode, and is fighting and helping, and just this great character. I mean, and this time latched on to SpiderMan, which was super cool.
And then the Scott
eventually
Lang.
with
And then
Scott
Scott's
Lang.
head. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which was also super cool. Anyway, I love that the Cape was actually like a cast member. It wasn't like the Cape came in, for one scene and then left. The Cape was a legitimate character.
Legitimate character in this episode.
Once again, we get the cast that we've had for the last few episodes. Again, Chadwick Boseman gives a haunting line and has a major role in this episode. Like I said, the only person I can think of I think what's his name did Happy's lines, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, the only one that
I
could see was Tom Holland in the cast.
Tom Holland was the only one not in the cast.
He is a Disney guy.
Oh
Yes.
He may
he's one of the
be-
big three.
For those of you who don't know, help me out with this name, someone, please. It's not Favreau.
John Favreau.
John
It
Favreau.
came to me because I was trying to think of Favreau and Filoni, and so it came to me.
He's the number
John
3 guy.
Favreau is a really, really big deal at Disney.
Oh yeah.
Not
And Marvel.
not well, right. I mean, he is the guy who is he's the showrunner for The Mandalorian.
He's the number 3 guy at Lucasfilm right now.
Not a small thing. He's the guy who should be the number 1 cat at
Or actually,
Star Wars
is he-
Central.
well, no, yeah, he's number 3 because Filoni is number 2.
Yeah.
Is Filoni number 2?
Yeah.
Filoni is number 2. Yes.
Okay. And also, rightly so. But also, let's not forget that Jon Favreau has directed a lot of Disney's big movies lately, including, didn't he do Lion King? Am I wrong on that?
Jungle Book.
Okay. Maybe Jungle Book is what I'm thinking.
It was
of.
Jungle Book, and there was. I think he
He's done
did
a
Lion
few of
King
their-
too. I think it was Lion King as
He's
well.
done a lot of their live action thing. Look, everything that Disney assigns him, he's like their hired gun, like the guy that goes, he's the sheriff that goes and takes care of the problems. Everything they hire this guy for, he knocks it out of the park. So they love him at Disney, make no mistake. And so it's funny that, because, Jon Favreau was an actor. And he started back in the 90s, he was doing his acting and stuff. And then, so it was interesting to see him cast as Happy Hogan in the Iron Man films.
But he also directed those.
Yes, he did.
He's the reason we have the Iron Man films because
Absolutely, he did
out of his own.
He did the
pocket.
beginning one. I think the third one was directed by Shane Black.
He
It
out
was,
of
it was
his own
yeah, it was
pocket,
directed and written by Shane Black. The third one was yes.
And by the way,
He
Shane
paid-
Black is pretty cool too.
He paid Robert Downey Jr.'s astronomical insurance cost to get him as Iron Man. He believed in RDJ that much that he paid out of pocket for this.
That's why that guy is so damn cool.
I mean, this man's like the godfather of Marvel, of the Marvel Cinematic
But
Universe.
everyone
Thank
talks
you,
nice
Jon
about him.
Favreau.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jon Favreau.
Thank you
very much.
He's a fan. He's everyone says they love working with him. I mean, hello, that's so important.
Yeah.
But he also, man, he's a storyteller.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's really a quality storyteller, and knows how to bring a big budget in and land it. So not a small thing. But anyway, it's funny but just like I've said before, still finds the time to get in there and record these lines.
Yep.
And say blam blam blam.
I wouldn't say finds the time. I would say makes the time.
Yeah, that's my point on this. Is that these people? I mean, by and large, the guy who plays Kurt is not that busy,
Right.
but Jon Favreau is effing busy, folks.
Yeah.
That's a guy who has other stuff to do, and he could easily mark that off and say,
I don't know.
Hire someone to do these.
The guy
lines.
who plays Kurt is pretty busy. I mean, Suicide Squad.
He's an active actor, but he's not. He's not. He's not Josh Brolin.
He's not Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah.
But he was a recurring villain in the Flash TV show. Yeah. So I mean, he's
I don't
busy.
mean to. I don't.
Yeah,
mean
I know
to,
what you mean. I know what
to
you
talk
mean.
him down. I'm just saying there are some very big people who could easily say, take a hike.
Right.
I don't want anything to do with this silly stuff. This is a silly cartoon thing. I'm not going to do it. And yet, just like it's happened since the beginning of time. I mean, name other, televised cartoons things where they got, the original people to do the voice work. It's almost unheard of. I mean, we're taking it for granted at this point that we've got these big actors on here, but that's highly unusual. That doesn't happen very often.
Can you imagine if the old Osmosis Jones TV series were able to land Chris Rock to do that whole TV?
Oh my God!
show?
Wouldn't that would have been great?
Props to Chris Rock for getting involved in the Saw franchise.
Yep.
Hey,
and putting his whatever, his money and his.
Since we're on tangents, Fargo. He's
obviously trying to do something else. I mean, look at oh my gosh, I'm going to forget the name. Adam Sandler did a thing where he was a guy who was betting on stuff.
Yeah.
The whole thing is about how you just can't stop betting. I mean, you guys are saying, that is such a good movie. I watched that not too terribly long ago. Sometimes these guys have, when they're given the opportunity, they have, some pretty amazing abilities within them when they're allowed to stretch and stuff. And I mean, Adam Sandler was great in that. And, maybe I need to check out Fargo and stuff. I've always liked Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to give that guy a shot. Let's do some Easter eggs, folks. And kind of go through this. Again, I'm going to try not to serve up stuff that I'm not supposed to serve this time. What were you going to say, Walt?
I was going to say shoot, because I really, since, I have this thing against zombies, I didn't really pay that close attention to Easter eggs.
That's okay.
Shame on you.
We'll get them.
But I know
these are not as thick as like the the WandaVision and all this sort of stuff. It's not as deep. I mean, you only have 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is one of these images is from the show we just watched, and the other is from the Marvel Zombies miniseries that happened not too terribly long ago. Did either of you read that series? I did not.
I didn't even know it existed up until like 2 days ago.
Well, apparently there's some very big parallels between the way that the comic series went and how this What If episode went. So it would be interesting to compare and contrast if anyone's watching us out there and they want to tell us what the differences were. Apparently it was like one thing was Hope Van Dyne was the person in the jar instead of Scott Lang. So there's one difference. I like that they let her be Giant Man.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen. I've never seen the Wasp be Giant Man.
Right.
Giant woman, giant person.
It makes sense though. I mean, if Ant-Man can
Giant
do it,
X.
makes sense
that she would be able to have that
the Wasp
ability.
could do it too. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But I thought that was a pretty neat thing. Anyway, so this right here is from the Marvel series, and like I said, if anyone has seen that, I'd like to hear. And I was interested in it at the time. DC did the same thing. They both ran zombie things at the same time. It's like one of those. It's like one of those ideas that once you kind of come up with it, once you come up with the mashup idea, you're like, let's do this. We got to do this. This will be a fun little narrative thing. Unless you're Walt.
Yeah, when I first saw the Marvel Zombies comic book way back when, I just immediately rolled my eyes and walked away.
One of the things that I thought was interesting, and again, I didn't see the original comic series, is that like zombies, typically in most movies, they're not very smart. They don't do anything. They might try to drink coffee or something, or hang around the mall or whatever. But in this case, these zombies were kind of intentional in using their powers and stuff. It wasn't like, they accidentally, like sometimes in zombie movies, people who are carrying guns will accidentally shoot the gun. In this case, these zombies were using their powers so that they could eat you.
It was almost like they retained their memories to a certain point.
Right.
Which I
it's
thought
just
was
a different
really
take on
interesting.
zombies.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Muscle memory.
Could be that.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
He said he's been watching, enjoying the discussion. We sure
Hey,
appreciate
Dad.
that. We enjoy you dropping by and hanging out with us. And leaving a comment. All right. In the episode that we just watched, you see this
Yep.
sequence of events, and here we go again. Why is it doing that?
Last time you had a notebook on your keyboard.
Yeah, I don't. It just died. I think it's a memory thing. I think this time it was just my memory.
I think it's oops.
Your computer lost its muscle
I think my
memory?
computer said, I'm not sure. I'm not
Your
doing this."
computer said, "Oh, I can't find all that other stuff from last week, so I'm just going to
I'm not going
quit."
to show this. I'm not doing this today. Sorry. No, forget it.
But I know where you were going to go on that. That was just a total rehash of what we saw from the beginning of Infinity War.
With the exception of
I'll
Bruce
reserve this.
Banner
Hold on a
walking
second.
out, dressed like Wong,
Yeah,
which I thought was great, down to the gloves.
yeah. That was pretty cool.
And then him arguing with Hulk, trying to get Hulk to come out.
All right.
There
So
we
there
go.
it is. Thanos is coming. Yeah, it locked up for a second there, and then died on me. He says Thanos is coming. He's coming. So this is set right at the beginning of Infinity War,
Infinity War, yeah.
so that we know. And then, of course, there's Infinity War.
Right.
So they mirrored that entirely.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I did too.
You'll notice on this thing that in the What If episode, he's wearing the same nanotech armor
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
that he wore in Infinity War.
Minus his helmet, because, zombie, he's got to
Is
be
that-
able to eat.
Is that Wong?
Yes,
Yes.
that's Wong.
That was Wong.
Usually Sean says listen to Wong, but in this case,
Don't listen to Wong.
don't listen to Wong.
Don't listen to Wong.
He's a zombie. All right, here is the deal. That the point that the people who made this graphic were making is that she was wearing the vest from the thing. And you're right, though. She does have effed up hair. So maybe it is Yelena.
That
You know
was
what?
not a good shot. When you see them actually coming off of the Quinjet, when you see all the Avengers, that's where you see Elena.
I'm now going to disagree because I'm going to say that it was our original Black Widow, because this is before Endgame, and she did have her hair cut short after, and she was wearing the vest after her movie, which is set before this moment. So I'm going to say we were looking at the original.
That's probably
I'll say that
Natasha.
the team was together at the beginning of this episode, where in Infinity War the team was all broken up.
Right.
If
Right.
you remember, Captain America was out of there. No
Right.
one knew where the hell he was. They'd all broken up after Civil War. In this case, they were all together. So I mean,
Because she did bleach her hair blonde
all right.
after her movie.
She did, but honestly, it really the drawing, the animation actually looks like Yelena, though. That's the only thing that's making me think it was Yelena.
We'll dig around and see what the official
We will
what the
ask.
official word is on that.
We will
That's what I'm
search.
looking right
Or if
Father
you're
Google.
watching, tell us what you think.
We will search Father Google.
Yeah.
Father Google, can you tell us who that was, please? Thank you.
So Peter Parker is doing a little video diary thing, which was
Hysterical.
hilarious. It was really wonderful. And it also kind of, what was the what is it, Zombieland, where they did something like that?
This also harkens back to his first movie after Civil War.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which is
how that movie started off.
Which is that right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is that right there. But also in some of these zombie movies, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Love and Monsters. Have you guys seen Love and Monsters, by the way?
I have not seen that.
Yes.
Love and Monsters has a sequence that's very much like that as well. And Zombieland goes into, how to survive zombies and stuff at the beginning of the deal. Although it's not a video thing, it's like directly to the audience.
Right.
It still very much serves that purpose in this deal. And, it's very Peter Parker to kind of make light of this sort of thing. One of the wonderful things of having a young Peter Parker as opposed to one that's, taking Metamucil like Ronnie. So on Happy Hogan's introductory screen of Peter Parker's thing, he mentions boxing, and I think that harkens back to the to the movie where he was doing some boxing there.
Okay, so here's an interesting fact.
Skills.
Here's
Coffee.
an interesting fact about
never
Jon Favreau.
Actually happy.
I'm not single waiting for Thor. If you didn't know this about him, Jon Favreau is actually an amateur boxer, and he was in a couple of episodes of Friends. He played, I think it was Phoebe's boyfriend, and you see him actually doing MMA in that TV show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All true. He is an interesting character.
Mm-hmm. Another show I don't like to watch.
Friends?
I watched it once with my mom.
That's what the next season of Spoiler Alert is. It's just Friends episodes, Walt.
To quote one of my favorite boy bands from back in the day, "You'll have to count me out."
So, Walt, what did you think about Joey's reaction here? It was very unusual.
You'll have to count me out this time. You'll have to count me out.
Great, Dirk. He's dancing now.
What do you think Ross is going to do?
Should Chandler kiss Monica?
Should he?
And another quote.
We'll have to wait till the next episode of Spoiler Alert.
And another quote from Flava Flav. I try to help you all I can, but I can't do nothing for you, man.
Sharon Carter is
listed
as one of her skills, eulogies.
Blonde Bond. I loved that.
Because she did the eulogy for Carter, for Agent Carter.
And who other and there's no telling up to this point how many other eulogies she gave.
Right, no joke.
Right, or caused. Sharon Carter, it was also another interest, kind of a wild card that they threw into this group, which I really liked. I thought that was super cool. This frame is for Beth.
Thank you.
This is the scene where Kurt goes into they're talking about hygiene
and pheromones
and so they get in there with the Winter Soldier. We get a gratuitous shower scene with him, but the point of this thing is that Kurt is with ex-con.
Their security service.
Right.
Hey, I'll take a gratuitous shower scene in my cartoon. It's fun.
There you go. He was particularly sexy in this episode.
Yes, he was.
I mean, they really cranked up he was sexier than Sharon Carter in this thing.
They cranked up the beefcake in this one.
Totally. I mean, and with the hair and the whole thing and the
eyes, right. I mean,
total
fucking beefcake.
They really worked it hard on him in this one.
It's okay. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thanks, Marvel.
They're looking out for you. The van that they used in this that was small and then splatted the zombie is the same van that was in the Ant-Man movie.
Ant-Man 2.
I thought you were a Uber driver. I'm a professional chauffeur.
Right.
The
glove.
Little glove.
The watch
that he has in there, which comes out of the watch, was in, what was that, Infinity War?
No, that was Civil War.
That was Civil War. Yeah. Because that's the scene where that's the scene where Tony's
Bucky gets reactivated.
Yeah, Bucky's got reactivated, and Tony's going after him in the
right. He was surprised. Yeah,
yeah,
he was surprised, but he's got a little trick up his sleeve.
Don't you have your suit with you? Yes, I do. It's a lovely Tom Ford 3-piece. I might have watched the movies too much, guys. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh no, we've probably watched them as equally as much as you.
We mentioned the cape. Peter Parker ended up with the cape. Spider-Man doesn't look bad with the cape.
He doesn't look bad with the cape.
No, I mean, kind of he can totally pull that look off.
He can rock the cape.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that line.
You have Captain America, who is a zombie, and Sexy Winter Soldier says, "Sorry, pal, I guess this is the end of the line," and that's a mirror of a line from the. He says it because that whole till the end of the line.
That whole scene is a mirror from Winter Soldier. Because Zombie Cap throws the shield at him and he catches him and throws it right back.
Right.
But instead of Captain America catching it, he gets sliced in half.
I like how that scene starts out because that's what I've got on my thing today. You've had enough, Cap, where Bucky walks in there to find Cap bending over Sharon Carter, doing the zombie chomp, and he's like, "You've had enough, Cap." But you can tell Bucky's like, "Oh man, I really have to do this."
Yeah.
I think that's one of the neat elements with silly zombie stories is that you have to deal with the fact that they're zombies and they're not coming back.
Yep.
So this is an interesting catch here. In this episode of What If, he says, "My mom, Dad, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark, now happy. I've lost a lot." This is the first mention of Uncle Ben in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
Yep.
So we take it for granted because we all know the story. I gave them big kudos at the time for not rehashing the origin story of Spider-Man. We've been through it. They still had the origin story. They just did it different. They injected Tony Stark in that thing, and it made it a lot more important for the MCU for sure to have those two hook up as mentor and mentee. But in any case, it's interesting to finally see Uncle Ben mentioned in this thing.
Right.
And of course, later in that scene, he also mentions Aunt May.
Aunt May.
Right. Yeah, that she also got zombified. They go to a place, and I cannot remember the name.
Camp Lehigh.
There we go. Camp Lehigh. Camp Lehigh is the exact same place that Captain America trained.
And this is not the first time we've seen Camp Lehigh. We saw Camp Lehigh also in Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. We had Camp Lehigh in... it
was the first episode of What If.
Endgame.
And Endgame, yep.
The first episode of What If. Do believe, didn't we get Camp Lehigh in Captain America... Falcon and Winter Soldier as well?
Yes.
So maybe so.
Yep. We got Camp Lehigh in the Peggy Carter series.
Yep.
Because that's where S.H.I.E.L.D. started.
Right.
So, yeah, Camp Lehigh is a pivotal place in the MCU.
Yeah. And here's your team, by the way: Winter Soldier, Kurt, the Cape, Bruce Banner. Okoye, and Hope Van Dyne, who passed right before this scene, trying to save everyone.
And Peter Parker.
Couldn't she have shrunk and then gotten big again?
Yeah.
If she shrunk, she'd shed all the people, and then she got big again, she'd knock them all off, and then she could have stepped over the wall.
But she was already...
She was almost going to die anyway.
She was already infected anyway, so...
I know, whatever.
That wasn't how they wrote it, Dirk.
I know.
Cinematic effect, man.
I know. Effect. She died like a hero. Okay. What ifs?
What ifs?
In the movie,
The whole Baba
the
Yaga
Ant-Man movie. He
thing
talks
cracked
about
me
Baba
up.
Yaga, and he mentions that again in this thing.
What's
What a
funny?
great-
What's funny about this is I just watched something other than MCU that made mention of Baba Yaga, and when I heard that, I was just like, "This is funny," because this is the second time this week I've heard Baba Yaga. So
Right, I saw something recently.
I'm trying to remember
Didn't they call John Wick something like that?
that's what it was from in John Wick. Baba Yaga. That's what they called him.
But they said he was like the boogeyman's boogeyman.
Right.
He was
Right.
Baba Yaga's Baba Yaga.
Exactly. That's what it was.
That's kind of scary.
Because I finally, by the way, I finally watched all 3 John Wick movies when my parents were here. So
Oh, okay. There you go.
those are the type of movies my mom likes to watch.
Wow. Well, that's
Go, Mom!
super wow. That's super awesome. I like that. I watch action movies with my mom too. When we get together, she's a big fan of several of the beefcake type action heroes.
It's not beefcake.
So,
it's just
I
action in
understand.
general. So
I got you. But she has a ever expanding list of.
Yeah.
She finds someone new and she's like, well, I got to see all of his movies. So
oh yeah,
my
my
it's
mom,
been Gerard Butler
Yeah.
lately, and then
my mom. If you were to take a movie and turn Revenge of the Nerds into an epic action movie, my mom would sit and watch it. That's the type of movie mom. You could have Revenge of the Nerds and make that. You know what? That's an idea. Start writing, Beth.
Okay.
Revenge of the Nerds as an
Revenge of the Nerds
action
movie.
as a kung fu action movie.
Okay,
No
well, there we
comedy.
go.
No comedy.
No comedy.
No. We got to put Jackie Chan in it. If it's gonna be a kung fu action movie, Jackie Chan has to be in it, and then there will be some comedy.
He has to be the nerdy professor
Yes.
that gets picked on.
Doing
And
the
then-
drunken.
And then at the end, he kicks the football coach's ass at the
Yeah,
end.
he does the whole drunken
Masters.
drunken master thing, which is hysterical to watch him do,
Yeah.
and then kicks butt. So yes, okay, we're good.
Okay, back on point here.
I really liked Kurt in this episode, by the way, on the previous frame. He was really a great addition to this thing.
Yeah,
and had a lot of really great zingers about when Okoye said something about everyone watching television or something. He said,
I remember it was about the only thing that they watch from the U.S. are reality shows.
Don't you guys
Right.
watch horror movies?
horror movies, yeah, right.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, that's a solid burn to all of us.
Right. Right.
That's
But he also does
was
this
really
when he
great.
says it. He also does this when he says it.
Right. Here is Scott Lang in a jar, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing, and apparently
Futurama.
right, but also apparently from the comics.
I loved Okoye's comment to him. Now, dude, don't fuck up your jar.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are some things to take away from this. I still don't like zombie stories.
This one had some really great one-liners, though. It really did.
And again, I liked the team a lot. Anyway, I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. My favorite episode is still the Doctor Strange episode.
Ditto that.
Yeah, just because let's just rip our hearts out. We don't need them for that one.
Right. I kind of like, downer endings on stuff. So in this episode, it's the Vision who does the opposite of what Wanda did in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He basically screwed everyone over to keep her alive or bring her back or whatever, which shows that, at least in this case, he was capable of doing the same sort of thing for her that she did for him.
Right. But his implications were more dire, I would say.
Agreed. Agreed.
Certainly more extreme.
Yeah.
But, she did enslave an entire town of people against their will.
Unintentionally.
And made them do stuff.
Yeah.
No, that was Agatha.
It was Agatha all along, egging it on.
I thought it was Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Here we go again.
I'm going to say right now, the Marvel universe will not, the Marvel Cinematic Universe will not have Mephisto. He is way too problematic,
right,
for them to deal with.
And plus, he's been turned into such a red herring at this point.
right.
If he did show up, nobody's going to be like, "Yeah, you're not Mephisto."
Who cares? But I mean,
it's going to be great when they finally do introduce him, and he's just going to be such a bit cameo character, and then never be used again.
You know, that's a character that's been in the comics quite a bit, particularly when you're talking about, you know, characters like Loki and Thor, or Doctor Strange. You know, he shows up in a lot of the stuff. But how do you explain who Mephisto is?
Right.
You know, how is China going to react? That's the most important thing, of course, is will China accept your film if you put this in there?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not. The Vision, Thanos is himself in this thing. He does the exact same thing, but he does it to himself in this, which is pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. This is how he atones for the bad deeds that he did, because he knew he was wrong. But kind of an interesting
Lerv makes you do crazy things.
Yep, it sure does. Oh boy. And this is my
As Scott Lang says, love sucks.
Yes.
There's it's not a Quinjet, whatever it is that they're calling this.
That's
it's
the one that they used in
yeah, there's from the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is in the deal. And yeah, that the crowd you know, took off. I mean, to be continued, I guess. I don't know if they're gonna. I have a feeling that we're probably not going to get additional.
The way that they ended that, you know,
zombie Thanos, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know.
That's a problem.
I don't know if this is a two-parter, or if the other part's something for them to share with us sometime down the line.
Maybe the snap is that everyone comes back to life so that they can eat them.
Zombie Thanos is definitely an interesting thought, because if he snaps, then Scott Lang and the Cape are flying that Quinjet into Wakanda. Because if y'all remember, Spidey and T'Challa all went to dust.
Right.
That Quinjet's crashing, man.
But
right.
what does a zombie Thanos snap? What is it that a zombie Thanos wants?
I'd say it would be different.
I'd say it would be
and
different.
in addition to that, would zombie Thanos have the whatever esprit de corps, the life force, to actually activate those things? I don't know. I mean,
we've seen, you know, zombie Iron Man blam blamming, and we've seen, you know, Hawkeye still firing his arrows, and we've got, you know, Sam still firing his wings.
But he wasn't using that arrow quite as accurately as he would if he wasn't.
No, but at the same time, you know, Sam Wilson's, you know, flying around like Falcon, you know, zombie Falcon, you know, pretty accurately. I mean, he does, you know, he does send Bucky flying.
Right.
So I would think, based on the way they wrote it, the way we saw the characters interacting, I mean, we still had Wong and Doctor Strange, you know, doing
their
magic
stuff
successfully. Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking, you know, zombie Thanos can still pull it off.
I just think his whatever it is that he would snap would be different than you know, eliminating half the universe. I would be surprised, because in order for a zombie to survive, there has to be living flesh. So you wouldn't want to eliminate half the universe if, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a demand. He can make the supply.
Exactly. That's what I say. It brings everyone back to life. Instead of kills them.
Right.
He doubles it. Anyway, I don't know. I suspect that all of these things are like Twilight Zone episodes where you will never see these characters of this situation again.
Right.
But it remains to be seen.
This is.
There are some people that believe that this is, at the very least, this is a self-contained universe where
and
these characters will show up again. And it's always possible that next season we get a revisit?
Well, we've we don't know if all of these are connected. Well, the Doctor Strange universe is dead. Though from that episode, that universe is gone.
That particular universe is gone.
Is gone, but that Doctor Strange still lives on.
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
We've already determined that this universe from this episode is separate from the one where the Avengers didn't live long enough to become the Avengers. So technically, and we don't know what's happened with the first.
It's like a reset every episode.
So right now, technically, you could say that we've probably got at least 3 different universes.
Yeah.
At the most 4.
Yeah. And I mean, the point of all of this is that you could do all these crazy things, and it doesn't, you almost kill the whole point of the show when you say that these all have to be within, like their own continuity.
Right.
It screws up the whole thing. The point is infinite universes.
Yeah. Right.
So you're going to have infinite stories that you can.
It would be fun to go back and visit some of those universes.
Of course. I love the T'Challa as Star-Lord universe is one that I would love to. I want a series on that. All of those characters were fantastic. I mean, the whole thing was just wonderful.
I want to see actually I would like to revisit to see who Nick Fury wound up going with after the original Avengers were all killed before they got to form. That would be a good story to come back and visit.
Yeah.
Captain Carter would be another one to come back and visit since she's in the present. And like I said, as we've seen Shuma Gorath twice now, we just might see.
That does seem strange.
Where's that one going to pop up?
It might be leading to something. It might be leading. Knowing Kevin Feige, he puts ideas in your head. I really feel like this is his opportunity to maybe give you a little to grease the skids a little bit on some ideas. Like, for example, Doctor Strange being so wanting to fix things.
Yeah,
that he would be willing to
mess up the universe.
Mess up the universe for Peter Parker.
I just blew my brain here with a strange thought. What if, since we know that Kang the Conqueror is going to be the new big bad, what if we see some of these heroes in What If show up in the final conflict with Kang the Conqueror?
I'd love it.
I would not be surprised at that at all.
It would be awesome if we got ourselves a live action.
If you're talking about an in-game moment,
where
a bunch of people. But I wouldn't be surprised if they drop some of this. In like either the Spider-Man film or the Doctor Strange film or something where they're going through this thing, they might recreate one of these characters or something. I think we're going to get a deal where.
Because
there are moments where everything is not so solid. Like
I got a feeling we're going to see a live action Captain Carter.
We might listen. Let me tell you something. I think that there's a possibility that we get Captain Carter like for real. Like they grab Captain Carter and pull Captain Carter into whatever continuity. I think there's a very real possibility of that.
Yeah.
They would that does a lot of things for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, bring Captain Carter and her brother back.
There we go.
There we go. Gotta bring her brother back.
For Max.
Whew. Since we got a connection with that dude.
Yeah.
Get some love from Max, man.
That would be awesome.
Always.
I keep hoping that he's going to, end up getting some sweet Star Wars or Marvel Universe gig that we can pull him in.
Maybe we just need to start a hashtag campaign on Twitter.
Right? No joke.
Listen, he's a cool guy and a good actor. He's obviously attractive. They're constantly looking to hire people. Who knows? Who knows what the future.
Was that Haley Atwell?
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all if they try to try to get her on
I'm
the
putting
regular.
my money. I'm putting some money on it that we might get a cameo of live action
Hey Ben,
Captain
how
Carter.
you doing?
Yes, it would be cool, Ben.
It would be.
very
Yeah.
cool.
I totally agree. Ben just followed me on something, Instagram or something. Anyway, I followed him right back. Twitter? It was Twitter.
So,
I wish that he had found me earlier. I will push your stuff, Ben.
okay, so I said that, since we're talking about our final thoughts on this episode,
Yeah.
I said I had two things out of this whole thing that I got out of it. One was the Chadwick Boseman line about, nobody ever dies as long as they're in our memories, they live on with us.
Wait a minute. What kind of strange coincidence is it that they had him say that line?
I'm telling you, it's almost like self-fulfilling
possible?
prophecy.
Is it possible that they knew?
Well, it's also used
when he did, because
it's also used in the Black Panther movie when he goes back to
all right,
see
so you're
his
saying
ancestors.
that mirrors?
So that mirrors that. So
that's true.
So
But
that's
remember, Chadwick was sick.
For him to have, he was sick.
He was sick
2
when
years
he was
ago.
filming. When he was from the time he filmed Civil War
right
on, he was battling that cancer.
I'm not sure
But
how many
nobody
people
knew
really
about it.
knew.
Supposedly nobody knew, but
You want to talk about a superhero?
yeah.
because
This guy refused to burden people with his situation,
yeah.
I mean, even
and then went to hospitals with kids who had cancer
while he was fighting
cancer.
Yeah.
Holy
the only people
that guy, I admire that guy, and I loved his performance. That no one will ever do. There is no other Black Panther. They cannot replace him. But wow, that guy is so incredible.
Oh my
God, that guy is so incredible.
Yeah, the only people who knew about it were his immediate family and his best friend from college.
You're welcome, Ben. I mean that.
So
if you guys have not watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, the last movie he did,
I haven't.
Phenomenal.
I'm sure
absolutely phenomenal.
I recommend watching. I recommend watching anything he's done.
Yeah.
42.
I love that. Is Caitlin's favorite movie
with Harrison
Ford.
Yeah. 42 is a great movie.
That's the movie she knows Chadwick from, and she fell in love with Chadwick Boseman when she sat down and watched that movie. So when they cast him as Black Panther, she was even more like, yes,
Yeah, because I love movies about baseball, and so 42 is a good movie. I mean, it's him with Harrison Ford, so you can't.
That's pretty
that
cool.
Movie.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that movie.
I feel about movies and about baseball the way that Walt feels about zombies.
It's a good movie, though, Dirk. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not a big baseball fan, but I even enjoyed it.
Hey, Dirk. Right. Here's my thing with baseball, Dirk. I would like
to see Moneyball, though.
Yeah, I would rather
I want to see it.
Watch baseball at a stadium live as opposed to watching it on TV.
Yeah,
I've said that for a long time.
I cannot watch
baseball live is a different game than watching it on television. Watching on television is a good excuse. Like if you need to take a good nap, you could put on you could put a little golf or baseball on, and you could sleep through about 5 innings.
Yeah.
But if you're in the stadium, it's a different thing. There's activity around you, and you can watch different elements of the game. You can watch what people are doing in the outfield. You can see the thing unfold a little bit better.
There's a chance of
hot dogs.
There's a chance of catching a fly ball.
Yeah,
it's
like it's a different experience. It's like a relaxing afternoon.
Yeah. So
if you're at a baseball
now, there's one caveat to watching it on TV. If you just happen to catch a game where it is a home run slugfest.
Yeah.
Although that feeling is doubled if you're actually there. So anyway.
Can you tell me why? Here's a tangent. Can you tell me why soccer has the rules that are specifically designed to keep the score low? Like they have rules where you can't kick the ball behind defenders. Who
Well,
cares?
no. It's not you can't kick the ball behind defenders. You can't be behind the defender. When you
Who
receive the
cares?
ball.
It's just like an alley-oop in basketball.
It's-
Let them do it.
But that's not.
Would
But
it
this
be-
isn't. But this isn't basketball.
Would it be terrible if the score was 20-21 in soccer? Would that be a terrible thing?
If you want that kind of scoring, watch indoor soccer.
I played indoor soccer and screwed
See?
up my knees fairly severely.
Good job. Nice.
No, I enjoy
Indoor soccer's
soccer.
a blast
I enjoy soccer, but I'm
for
only
people who are more athletically inclined.
I'm
than me.
only a World Cup watcher. So like right now, I'm keeping track of who's going to go where
Scott
into the
and
World
Gary
Cup.
are huge on that anyway.
But Major League Soccer, meh. Premier League, meh.
I used to actually manage a soccer team for one of my bosses, and every Sunday I was out. I had to be out there at the soccer games as the manager, dealing with the boys, making sure they had their registration cards and everything. And it got to the point where they had to have one person registered as a referee. So I had to go and take the referee class too.
Yeah.
Because my boss was the coach. Nobody these kids, they were underprivileged kids, and none of the parents were stepping up. So I wound up going and getting the referee, license as well for a time.
I like how these cats like to be the center of attention.
And
Yes.
shout out
cat
to
is-
Steve.
Your cat is doing exactly what Sean's cat, which is, hey, it's my damn show.
It's my show.
It's my show.
Shout out to Steve because he coaches a little league soccer team too. So
Yeah.
Maxine says that Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is super awesome.
yeah,
She says is she saying she hit the wrong button again? Is that
Well,
what
she started
said?
out with Ma Rainey, and that's all she said.
Oh.
oh yeah.
I
got
feel
it.
you, Mom. I feel you.
Yeah, she said is excellent.
Hey, there's Sean. He says, I'm curious if Chadwick ad-libbed the line, both knowing his own situation and they liked it.
That ran through my mind too.
You never know. That's probably it.
Did he leave a zinger for us there?
I think so. He might have.
It's possible. It seems very curious to me.
Right.
That line was in there. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like insanely, the chance that he would have that line of all lines
Right.
about stuff is pretty insane. So maybe he, who
And
knows?
that brings me to my second thing that I took away from this episode. And he says that to Peter Parker. Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and
Right.
the one thing that I got, this is the main thing that I got out of this whole episode.
Sean's not a fan of soccer.
I love soccer, Sean. Sorry. The one thing that I got out of this whole episode is that Peter Parker not only is the heart, but the inspiration for everybody else
Yeah.
in this episode.
Yeah.
And
He
it's-
typically is the
right. And so
whatever.
and
The
so
heart is a good word.
when he expresses to Bruce Banner that he didn't want to lose Bruce Banner either. And Bruce Banner says, well, avenge us. And he gives Bruce Banner this smile as he takes the Mind Stone. So in a way, it's this dynamic. And you see this in other Marvel things when it involves specifically a young Spider-Man, especially if you read a lot of the Marvel, the Ultimate Universe in Marvel.
Yeah.
Spider-Man looked up to everybody else as the hero, and he wanted to be like them. And you can tell that everybody else wanted to give him to be a good impression on him and teach him everything that he knows. So in a way,
That's a good element.
it's a very good element. And you can see that in his interaction with everybody. So
You see it in Civil War. I mean, even during the fight scene, him and Cap are like, they're talking about the shield. They're talking about where they're from. When he runs into Bucky, he's like, "Is that a metal arm?"
right.
So cool.
Yeah.
And he really
Spider-Man's
is
always
the
kind of been
heart.
played as the everyman.
Yeah,
Right.
in
is the
the
heart.
Marvel universe.
Right.
The heart
That was the
of
whole
all of it.
purpose of. I mean, that Stan Lee kind of wanted
Yeah.
that sort of character instead of being someone who's a god or
Filthy Rich,
like
and
or rich or he's an
Yeah.
everyman. He lives in a brownstone and goes to school and has to
Right.
deal with all of the the day-to-day problems that a teenager has to go through, and that carried on as he became a teacher and everything else.
And I can't wait.
Sean's calling out the flopping in soccer.
Oh, I love. Hey, I'm right there with you on that one, Sean. I'm right there with you on that one.
There's one famous deal
There's
that
two
happened
sports-
several years ago where some guy comes by and like flicks a guy's ear, and he it looks like he was shot in the back by a 50 caliber. A sniper rifle or something.
And
I mean, it's just insane.
And it's funny that basketball was mentioned because soccer and basketball are the two
Basketball
sports
does do that
with
as
the
well.
worst flops.
Sean often says that guy should get an Emmy.
Yeah.
Forget giving him MVP. Give him an Emmy.
Yeah. So
for his flopping. Steven Adams did not do that when he was playing for the Thunder. So they never called any of the fouls on him. I mean, people would do elbows to his face like Ong Bak, and they wouldn't call it. But as
soon as he did something,
they called him for everything that he did. But if you flop a little bit, people go, "Oh my gosh, we got to call this."
Yeah.
That's why they do it. I understand what they do it. Ben says, since the MCU is introducing Kate Bishop and already introduced us to Cassie Lang and Elijah Bradley, are they setting up Young Avengers?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
I've said that for a while. I don't think there's any question that the next Avengers film is going to be the Young Avengers.
Avengers.
They are setting that
All
up.
of the elements are absolutely there. Not just that. Ironheart is going to get introduced. So there's your Iron Man.
Don't forget the twins. Scarlet Witch's twins.
Right, the Scarlet yes, whatever
Scarlet
their
Witch's
names
twins.
are,
Yep.
Astro Bright and Flip Bong.
I think
Thank you, Dirk. You just broke Walt completely.
Wiccan and Speed, I do believe, are the names.
I'm pretty close. I'm pretty sure those are close.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh
my goodness.
Okay.
What were their names, Walt? Let's get this correct.
I know
instead of my made-up names.
I know one is Wiccan, and I think the other one is Speed.
Those sound correct.
I'm looking. Okay, just hold on here.
Ben's got the answer there. He's got it.
All right.
Okay, good.
Sean says that LeBron and Harding are the worst. They are bad. They practice flopping.
Yes, they
Maxine says. I did not know that. That's interesting. I really thought that was kind of a one-on-one deal. There we go. Ben says Wiccan and Speed.
Wiccan and Speed. So yeah, they're
Astro Bright and Flip Bong.
So yeah, they're going to give us a Young Avengers.
Sean's correcting me too. He has to do that often. He does that often when I whip out my names.
I know. Sean.
He's
is
like,
sitting
"What
there
are you talking about?"
I know Sean
he gets a lot of that.
I know Sean is sitting there doing one of these.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's dying.
He is.
He dies inside a little every time I come up with names for shit. All right. My glasses are all fogged up, like Scott Lang's
Like Scott Lang's jar.
Like Scott Lang's jar. My glasses are fogged up. Does anyone have anything left that they want to talk about on this deal? If not, then we'll wrap this episode up.
Not after that.
Not after that.
Walt is correct.
Oh man.
I can't get that out of my head now. Oh.
Goodness gracious.
It's the eye roll. I'm telling you, it's the Sean eye roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is practiced frequently around me. Feel for him.
Apparently it's practiced around Scott too.
Yeah. Oh, look at my eyes are all bloodshot from laughing so hard now.
All right. Well, Beth, let's go to your goodies here and tell people what you got coming up and where they can find you.
What do I have coming up? Don't really have anything coming up at the moment, but yes, I do. I take that back.
You are working on a book, are you not?
I'm working on a book. I'm working on a book.
That's coming up.
So that one, I'm aiming for a November publication of that one. It's called Beyond the Steps of Stone. It's a sci-fi romance, so keep an eye out for that one. Also, episode 3 of Taskforce Geek Book Crew should be out sometime this week. That, if everything goes according to plan, will be an interview with author Lavelle James, who also writes paranormal romance novels. You can find my novels at bethandfreely.com, and if you're looking for an editor for your novels that is compassionate and honest in the criticism without being harsh and mean, hit me up at themusesfunhouse.com.
Without being an a-hole?
Without being an a-hole.
That's important.
Yeah,
as someone who is a creator, it sure is nice to. I mean, I want people who. I don't want everyone to be honest with me because, to be honest, a lot of people don't know what the hell they're talking about. But professionals and co-conspirators, I want you to be honest. I just don't want you to kick
be
me
brutal.
in the Jimmy.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good to be brutal, because every author has their process, every author has their idea, every creator has their idea, and they're the only person that knows how to bring that into fruition. They're the only person who knows how to bring their idea forth. And I try to mentor and guide people who I edit for, instead of telling them, your idea bites, it doesn't fit this format, go away. I've had that happen to me. So I've made it a point to work with my authors and say, hey, tell me why you want to do it this way. I'm curious what your thought process is. And, sometimes they don't know why they write something a specific way. Sometimes they do. Being able to sit down and carry on that conversation and work with the author and not try and get them to change what they're doing to fit some sort of format. I'm the person. I want to work with you. I want you to tell me what you're thinking, and then I will help you make what you're thinking better, without being harsh, without being the a-hole.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a lot of experience in editing stuff, and you have several books already, and you're working on another.
Yeah.
Right now, you are a great person to go to for this stuff.
Right now, I actually have 2 return customers. One is an 18-year-old girl who I edited her first novel and mentored her through her first novel. And
how old is she?
She just turned 18.
Man, that is awesome to be on that and to have the presence of mind to get an editor.
And she writes Regency romances of all things, which
she's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
when she hits about 25, she's going to be unbelievable because
she's fantastic.
She sounds like she's doing it right.
She told her mom,
I wish that I had found someone like that at that. I mean, I don't know if my parents would have been able to afford that. I certainly couldn't have on my Brahms paycheck, but good for them for making the investment in doing this right now, because I mean, at 18, that's such a great age to be really serious about it.
And for those of you not in the Oklahoma or Texas areas that don't know what a Brahms is, Google it. That's with an apostrophe S.
Yes. I actually met Taya through my co-author on my second novel. Her mother is friends with one of my co-author's co-workers, and so it was kind of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. But they were like, "Hey, do you know anybody?"
I get a lot of business that way.
Yeah, and Miriam was like, "Yeah, Beth."
I'd say most of my business is word of mouth.
Yeah,
it seems like once you kind of prove what you do, people will talk about you, and you can talk about it all day. That's why an endorsement is so important, because you can talk. I can talk until I'm blue in the face about how good my social media services are, or my art or writing or whatever, and people are going to be, yeah, sure. But if someone puts an endorsement out there that goes, wow, this really helped my business, that's worth it. That's 100 times more powerful.
By the time we finished editing Taya's first book, she had the second one. She had the manuscript for the second one finished.
Wow.
So that's what I'm actually in the process of editing now. Yeah.
She is rocking
she's on fire.
Rolling.
She's on fire.
That's cool.
Yeah, so if you're looking for an experienced editor, hit me up at themusesfunhouse.com. I also do website designs, specializing in author websites. I can do business websites and stuff. So go look at themusesfunhouse.com. That's my side business. You can find me Twitter and Instagram at BA Freely. And then, as you can see, my link tree's scrolling on past you. You want to hit me up on any other social media, or you want to leave, you read one of my books and you want to leave a review, you can find them all on my link tree.
What's Peanut Butter going to be doing?
Supervising as always. She's probably getting set to lay back down on the tray so that I can't do squat as she always does.
Just making sure that she gets all of her promo time too. Okay, Walt, we're going to go to you, buddy.
All right, these are the places where you can find me, right here. And I also do graphic design and illustration as well. And I'm working on a website right now so that I can get you my commissions prices. So those of you who are interested in me doing artwork for commission, and if you want to see any of my artwork, you can go to Behance or my Facebook page here. And also, if you go to my Zazzle store, there are some cool things that you can buy. I do some, I have some swag, some things you can wear. I have shoes, and, as people like to see, I have these nice little shoes with my Robo Girls. I have a series of Robo Girls illustrations.
The shoes are pretty sharp.
Wait a minute. I love them.
Did Maxine get her shoes?
Maxine got a pair of shoes. She hasn't gotten these yet. But she did get a pair of these with my logo on them.
Did Mom ever get her coffee mug?
I think we might need to see some pictures of those in real life.
I want to, I need my mom to take some pictures of her wearing them so that I can post those down.
I'm serious about that. That will do great wonders for you.
But did she get her coffee mug?
The one coffee mug that we were having issues with, we haven't tried to get that one yet. But if you want to see the coffee mugs, we have the coffee mugs here.
The coffee mugs are awesome.
This is the one that she's been trying to get, and we've had issues with that one going.
Oh, the double?
The double. But we've had no issues with anybody getting any of the other coffee mugs. So as you can tell what I'm doing a spoof of there with these characters.
Right.
So.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that's it for me. So,
all right, let's go back to our deal here, and I will put my thing up. I spent, I think, 9 days doing a painting. I have not done painting since, the last time I did a painting, it was like an analog painting, probably around 2001 in a college class.
That's a long time.
It's a long time ago that I did a real painting. I did it digitally this time, but it took me 9 days, and it's not 9 days of like working 30 minutes at a time. It's 9 full days that I worked on this damn thing. Before I got the thing finished, I went over and upped my painting prices by $100, and I should have upped it by $500 based on the amount of time that I spend on those things.
I know what you're going through on that one.
It's just, paintings take so long, but it looks, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. And, I can't share it, unfortunately, because it's a birthday gift and her birthday is in January. So I'm going to have to wait until it's printed and shipped to her. And so you'll probably see that painting in another few months. Is there some comments coming through?
Uh,
Go on.
9 days. Get a job, sucker.
Well, that's the way paintings go sometimes. And also realize that with paintings, I'm not really optimized for painting. You know, I mean, like I said, it's been 20 years. What I've done up to this point is I've done line work and then painted everything else, which is, you know, basically how I'm doing all of my my
commission work.
ink commission work right now is basically line work with painting behind it. But a painting is another issue. You don't use line work, you use shapes, and you work things over obsessively. And this was a big piece, and I wanted it to come out good because the subject was or is very attractive, and the idea was good. And so I knew that if I executed on this, it would be a bit of a showpiece. So I took besides the fact that it's a painting and stuff, and it takes a long time, I figured that it would be a good idea to spend the extra time to make sure that it wasn't done, but it was done right. So anyway, that's how long that dumb thing took, and it was such a relief.
It's not dumb
to get that thing done.
No, it's not dumb.
It's not dumb.
And then I did a day later. I did another piece, and I did one piece last night. I stayed up till 7 o'clock in the morning. So what is interesting to me right now is that
Sleep.
Right. One of the things, I didn't get a lot of sleep, and even though I got some sleep, I'm a little fuzzy headed right now. More fuzzy headed than usual. This week in particular, I really feel like an artist. You know, like maybe for the first time in my life, I'm usually not this productive. Usually, I have to go off and do other things for other projects or other clients and stuff. But I've been kind of about 90% focused lately on artwork, and I've produced 3 finished pieces that I don't hate, which is a rare occurrence in a row. And so anyway, it feels, I feel like I'm kind of maybe turning a corner here, and it's pretty exciting. And so I could show you the one picture, but I don't have it because I was up until 7 o'clock this morning. I didn't prepare that to show it to you. And the other piece has not been approved yet. I may have to make some changes on it. But anyway, I've had some successes here lately, and more importantly, I've been very active as an artist. So if you're interested in my artwork, please follow that stuff down there. In addition to that, next week I'm going to be in the hometown of these two cats about this time next week. And by the way, Beth, you're going to get to run this show next week because
I get to run it on my birthday.
I am going to be on the road, if not in Dallas, at this time next week. So I'm going to be at Fan Expo for 3 days. You can meet me. I'm going to have 3 prints that are available, maybe. They said they haven't arrived yet. They're still at the printer. So hopefully, I got a great deal on those things, but they're not local. So hopefully they get shipped to me in time for the show. I will have 3 prints there. I'll be signing those. I might do sketches. I don't know. I hate doing, live analog sketching, but I might do it. I will take my sketchbook and my Copic markers and my toolbox, and we'll see.
Let's see here.
But we'll also be meeting with people for Taskforce Geek. So if you just want to meet me, then please come out to Dallas at Fan Expo next weekend.
I'll be hanging out there on Saturday.
The Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center.
Center, yeah.
You should, like I said, you need to make you some of these, Dirk.
I would be more inclined to do kind of small little sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. That would, just for fun.
You know what? I'll have some since we have some people who are willing to help us out, I'll have somebody donate some Task Force Geek cards like this.
Wow, that would be super cool. Yeah, that would be super cool.
I mean, I got 250 for $43, so
Wow. it would not just be. It's not just me out there. We're going out there for the purpose of Bad Candy issue number 3, and the other Bad Candy issues including 1 and 2, of course, and also Tasty Treats and maybe some other stuff. I'll be out there with Robert Henry and maybe a few other people.
You might run into
stuff and meeting people.
You all might run into me.
You're probably going to run into me. So
yep.
Yeah, we'll be there tormenting Dirk.
Right. So if you want to see that or participate in that or just meet the gang, we're all going to be out there. We'll be in Dallas during that time. I also want to say that also on the subject of Bad Candy, next week, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. On the regular show, we're going to have Robert Henry and Joe Evans. Joe Evans is the artist on issues 1 through 3 of Bad Candy. And we're going to have an old-fashioned launch party. We've never done that on the show before.
We're going to kickstart a Kickstarter.
Kickstart the Bad Candy issue 3. So we're looking forward to doing that. That's a really cool deal. And then in 2 weeks after that, we have friend of the show, as Michael Pickard said, Doug Wood, who's going to be on, and he's going to talk about Leap M. And Doug was in the news lately because of his contract with Action Labs, which is a comic book publisher who has been hurt pretty severely by the pandemic, and they had some issues with paying creators and publishing comics, and Doug was wrapped up in that, and so we will talk to Doug about that, plus a couple of new projects that he has. And I believe that he's actually going to be working on some stuff again with Michael Pickard, and so it's going to be interesting to kind of bookend those 2 interviews. If you haven't seen the show on the last Tuesday night with Michael Pickard, it was really good. We had a good time. I had these 2 on there with us, along with Sean and Michael, who was hilarious.
Oh, he was great.
Has a lot of really great projects and stuff. You should check that out. We had a good time, a lot of laughs.
And I'm gonna give my props to the youngin.
Yeah.
For his geek knowledge. I'm gonna give the props to him.
Yeah.
Give my props to him.
Yeah, that's why I said that he needed to be on more often, not just because he's on the front lines of doing comics and stuff, but he knew the stuff like we know the stuff.
I should say our stuff.
Our stuff.
Right.
The stuff that we grew up on.
Yeah, you know our stuff.
Which is amazing because I think he's about 25.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe younger.
Maybe a little younger. 25.
Yeah. So, Michael, if you're watching, we need to get you. We need to get you on some Star Blazers, some Star Blazers dope.
Yeah, put in your votes now for what we're going to talk about on Spoiler Alert next. I watched another episode. I've watched 3 episodes now of the classic Battlestar Galactica. I don't know how they are after this original movie, but these first 3 episodes are really good.
I think that whole season,
the first 3
thing was great. Yeah,
it has held together exceptionally well.
That's my vote.
The actors are really good.
Yeah,
the writing is good. Yeah. I mean, like the lines that these guys are coming up with, and the situation and stuff. The first 3 episodes have been, I'm going to say, excellent.
I will say the only thing that with the original that I look back on and I kind of laugh at now is the pilot lingo and what they do as pilots, because I just kind of like, you're in space and you're treating this like you're flying like in the airplane type thing and all that stuff. Some of the things that they eliminated from the new show versus the old show make better sense as far as the actual space action and everything. But other than that, the original show, I love the original show, but I also like the new show, and Sean hates it, but I still like them both.
I never watched the new show.
I'm
a Battlestar Galactica purist. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I just cannot get behind the new show.
Sean hated it.
I didn't hate it. I just said I wasn't watching it.
Hated it.
Yeah, you can't hate something you don't watch.
Yeah, I can.
Well, I mean,
dude, they made Starbuck a chick. Okay,
that's the thing I hear every time. Everyone who says they didn't watch it, it's like Starbuck's a chick.
That's the thing that because that was my thought in the beginning too, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fanfic. What do you call it? Fanfic fan service in that, but I got past it.
Who played Starbuck in the new one?
What's that?
Who played Starbuck in the new one? Yeah, that's what I figured. No wonder. We know how much you.
Yeah, but I wasn't a Katie Sackhoff fan until after that show, so because she throws a mean punch.
Mm-hmm.
No, really, that's one of the main reasons why I like Michelle Rodriguez. When she throws a punch in a movie, I'm like, man, she throws a mean punch. So,
all right, folks, we're going to wrap it
up. One last thing. Honorable mention, Titans. The last 2 episodes. If you haven't watched the last 2 episodes, since this
are you talking about the new episodes?
The new episodes.
Yeah, one drop.
So,
I noticed that they were broadcasting Titans on TNT.
Previous seasons, the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Okay, but that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So
I still haven't seen it, but at least it's out there.
So since this is spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil it.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Neither have I.
Wow, did we just deflate Walt?
Well, I know this one hasn't watched any of it.
I haven't watched the new I didn't watch the episode that dropped last night.
I got to drop all of my streaming services and just get HBO Max so that I can catch up on some of the stuff.
Anyway, since I'm not going to spoil anything, I'm just going to say be sure to watch it, and I'll spoil it next week.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll make sure I watch next week's episode next Wednesday. Okay,
a really big thing happens in this episode that was released today and last week.
Starfire gets a good outfit.
No, but it does involve Starfire.
All right.
Starfire.
And her sister Blackfire.
All right.
I got an honorable mention too.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking about it. I wasn't watching Titans last night because I pulled out. Yesterday was Star Trek Day. And Dan and I have been watching the Star Trek TV shows basically in chronological order. And we finished the original series cartoon because that was like the next one. So now, last night, in honor of Star Trek Day, we watched Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Okay. I saw that.
And this movie, 42-year-old movie, still gives me the creeps with the whole Voyager thing, knowing that we have 2 Voyager satellites still out there.
It's a pretty good premise.
Yeah.
It was really good for the time, and I think it holds together pretty well.
It does, and we've got a big.
And I hated that original Star Trek movie when I was young because it's kind of like molasses, but as I look back on it now, I like it more as an adult. I have a better attention span.
I hated it.
It's Star Trek V that I hate the most.
I hated that movie at first because in the movie theater, I remember as a kid, we were in England, and it was me, my mom, and either my sister or my dad. I don't remember which one it was. But I remember Mom leaning into me halfway through the movie and whispering to me, "How much do you want to make a bet it's an IBM computer?" Because my dad worked for IBM. So when you get to the end of that movie and you see Voyager, which is actually one of the Voyager satellites, I even as a 9-year-old kid, I'm sitting there going, "Oh dear Lord." Because IBM helped work on the Voyager computer systems. So, of course, here's my mother sitting there. "How much do I make bets an IBM computer?" And I'm just like...
People don't realize that we have 2 things that have left our solar system.
Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. So that's why I said 42 years later, this movie still gives me the creeps for that reason.
Kind of a big deal.
And we're still receiving from one of them.
We are getting information.
We're still receiving from both. Both are still transmitting back. So
that was not predicted.
No,
certainly not. That and that probe that we sent out to Pluto is going to be the same way because it's eventually going to get flung out into the. It's looking for one of those one of those asteroids that we have out there, and it's going to fly by that, and then after that, it's going to be just like the Voyager. The Voyagers.
Bye.
It's going to be way out of our solar system.
So again, I posit the question: what did Gene Roddenberry know? And where was Gene Roddenberry
Well,
really
he was
from?
You know,
He's
that
not
guy was
really
hopeful. That guy was for all of his flaws, and as happy as I was to see him not influence the next generation after the second season. He was a great visionary, and he was very hopeful, and
Pretty sure he was an alien.
proposed a science fiction series which goes very much counter to almost everything else that's out there, science fiction wise, which is like, most science fiction stuff is like a cautionary tale about, don't do this dumb thing. Of course, some people look at science fiction as like, like they get people on the phone and go, "Hey, can we do that?" right. Like the general who wanted the Predator cloaking technology.
Right.
Next generation and their pads.
Yeah. The communicators.
I remember with Next Generation looking at their pads, and more importantly their panels where they would touch the panel and move stuff. And I said, that looks great, but there's no way that will ever happen.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
And now, like, we touch screens are ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And the tablets that we have now are actually smaller.
Yeah. You can also throw in.
They're tighter and thinner than the ones that they had on Next Generation. So
you can also throw in Alexa.
Yeah. Flip phones were the original communicators.
Because now people are in their homes. In Star Trek, you would say computer.
I say that our cell phones are better than what Captain Kirk had. I mean, it has the sum and total of human knowledge on it. You can communicate with people all over the place, and you can do it via video. Captain Kirk didn't have video on his communicator.
No, they still don't.
Yeah.
There was
not to mention the tricoder.
They did on Space 1999.
They did on Space 1999, and then Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles. I remember watching that as a kid, and I remember that series freaking me out. But what I remember the most is we're sitting here video chatting, okay? And that was something we saw on Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles way before that ever happened.
Right. I mean, the first thing on that was 2001.
Yep.
He was up on that space station. And he was talking to his kid on Earth.
Well,
and they said that's craziness. That's crazy times.
I'm waiting on the Looney Tunes.
They did that in Blade Runner as well.
I'm waiting on the Looney Tunes thing. Smell-o-vision replaces television.
Yes. When Dan saw this hooked up Tuesday night, he turned around. He goes, "Why is Hal in your office?" I didn't even think of it until he said it. He's like, I don't know if I want to sleep in here.
Also, you could think about the droid that answered the door at Jabba's.
Yep.
At Jabba's palace.
Yep. It does look like that.
Or the little. Remember the floating balls in Tron?
Yeah. The bits.
No. Yeah. The bits. Yeah. The bits. That's what it reminds me of, the bits too. So.
Yeah. All right. We are suitably far off topic.
Always.
What if we stayed on topic?
Yeah. What if? A 5-minute show. So anyway, we're going to be back on Tuesday night. Please join us on there, and it'll just be those two and maybe Steve or something next week. I don't know, but
we'll get Steve
tune in.
Involved.
Tune in for whatever's happened, and thanks to everyone who chimed in today. We had several people we don't usually see here. We appreciate that. That's cool. Thanks to Beth. Thanks to Walt. Thanks to everyone who's watching. And until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.